was hearing our podcast pre-music that you have playing.
Grooving to it.
I was hearing it in my head, and kind of for people that can't see me, Melissa saw me grooving to it in my head. Do, 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 do. That gets you in the mood for the podcast, which I'm already explosive, excited. Of course, I always enjoy speaking to you, Melissa. It's always a treasure, and I miss it when we go too long in between. I know we text, but it's so good to see your face and hear your voice. But the season finale, for me was through the roof. It met every expectation.
Yeah. It was the best season finale yet, I think.
Totally. And what a way for the writers to be like, pay us what we're worth, right? Like, what a
Damn
way for
straight.
them to be, yeah. And if anybody from ABC is listening, pay the writers, man. I know you have the actors, but without the writers, what are they going to act, right? I
Yep.
mean, so I really, really hope that the hiatus is not extremely long and they meet their terms and all that, because wow.
And what they're asking for is not unfair. And
Right.
I saw something on some social media platform about the breakdown of an average writer's wage. And it's kind of a gig economy. It's not like they've got a salaried job. A lot of the time, they've just got a writing gig that will
Oh,
last like 9 months, and then they have to look for another job, kind of thing. And even if you're a staff writer, I guess it's still tough. But for a lot of them, it's like a gig economy. But they gave the average breakdown for what a 9 month job pays a writer. Then they took out what their agent slash manager and or both takes, and then they broke down what the average rent costs in LA. And they
jeez.
basically were left with just about enough to cover their rent for a year. But that's not including, obviously, food and petrol or gas, as you as you guys call it, and your car maintenance. And if something goes wrong in your house and you've got to pay for your
Yeah,
electricity and all your bills and all your stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And so it's literally, they can't afford to eat a lot of the time. And
Hmm.
when you look at the incredible job that these writers do and what it takes, and a lot of them have gone to school for it. It's not like people just woke
Hmm.
up one
Yeah,
day and just like, oh,
degrees.
you
Yeah,
know what, I'm just going to bash out a
yeah,
screenplay today. I mean,
right.
the odd person does that, but Emily Culver, for example, went to school for it. She told us when she did her live with Danielle. So
She did.
pay these people what they're worth. You guys are creaming billions, billions. Just please pay these people what they're worth.
I agree 100%, man. I went to school, invested time, got my associate's degree, went back to school, invested more time, got my bachelor's degree. And when I got out of school, I had this job that I had had for a long time, because I worked there. We call it as a med tech, because I knew I was going to be a nurse. So I thought, well, once I graduate as a nurse, they could just put me on a floor to be a nurse, because I've already been here for 10 years. So I
Yeah.
know everything, right?
Yeah.
And so I did that, and they literally gave me $1 more an hour. If I went down the street, I'd be getting like $12 more an hour. So do you think I stayed there?
Hell no.
Heck no.
No.
Sorry, podcast listeners. Anytime my son sees Auntie Melissa, he wants to speak with her. So I had to pause to let him know he could speak to his Aunt Melissa after we were recording the podcast. Hashtag mom life, right?
Soon, AB, soon.
Yes, he loves you, so that's something good. He loves you very much. But no, we don't have to stay on this topic long, but 100% agreed. Pay them what they're worth, man. Give them their money.
Too right. And talking of money, as we know, Stefania and Danielle have all of yours
Oh my God, do they?
because you are headed. So you leave in 3 days, as it stands today, to head out to Milan, shortly followed by Paris to meet Stefania and Danielle. Right? Are you also, because Gray Damon is going now as well? Are you also slated to meet him, or?
I am. I have a ticket to meet Gray, and I don't think I told you about this. I have a ticket to meet Katerina from Gray's.
Yes,
Yes,
Caterina
I do. I
Scorsone.
just thought that'd be fun, and I'm considering buying a ticket to meet Camilla.
Camilla Luddington.
I also considered buying a ticket for her just because I don't know if you saw, she's recently released a couple articles that she just became knowledgeable of postpartum anxiety and that she had
Yeah.
it. And so she's been
Yes.
doing
Yeah.
interviews with people to like educate and talk about it. And that was a huge part of my story.
Yes, I do.
And
Yes. Yes, I
so
do.
I
Yeah.
was thinking of meeting her just to kind of see how I can get her on my podcast and if she's interested and kind of just share my story and hopefully get her to share hers. Do you think that's an okay idea or?
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, my fellow Brit, Camilla.
Yes, yep. Because she's the new queen, Camilla.
Oh God, don't. But and although you're going on your vacation, I'm going to use the American vernacular. So we are not going to take a vacation because you have very kindly said that you will still dial in on holiday for the next couple of weeks and give us a little update on what's happening at the cons. So that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, it'll be like a on-site reporter.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. On location with Tiff.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Yep.
So that would be great because I'll obviously want to dial in and talk to you and hear about all your exploits anyway. So it's just
Yeah.
so great that you're going to allow us to hit record so that we can put it out for all the listeners. So
Of
that's really
course.
exciting.
Yeah, of course.
And then during this hiatus, we're actually going to ask for our listeners' help, aren't we? Because
Mm-hmm.
we've got some fun ideas for some podcasts to do. Other than the season one recap, we're still going to do the go over season one, but it's only 10 episodes long, and we
Right.
don't know how long the writer's strike's going to go on for. So we are going to
Right.
need some stuff to fill in. And we've already had some people write in with some really great ideas for
Okay.
episodes.
Let's hear him.
So, one of the good ideas, which is where I think we're going to need to recruit our listeners, one of the ideas was it was Diane who does our artwork for us,
Sure. Yeah.
who very kindly started to do some artwork for us. She thought it might be fun to do some top fives and top 10 lists. So I've kind of followed on from that a bit, and I wondered if it might be a really cool idea to do some top fives and some bottom fives, like our best five and our worst five. And I thought we could do things like episodes, storylines, moments, scenes, performances, fire incidents, sort of a best and worst of series
Mm-hmm.
6.
Okay.
um, but I thought that it would be really cool if people wrote in to give us their suggestions. So tell us what you liked, what you hated, and why. And then we can read out some people's responses, and we can
Mm-hmm.
also use those responses to formulate some polls. And then if you go on our socials, so on Twitter we are at Station 19 Pod. That's Station 19 Pod.
Mm-hmm.
On Instagram, we're at Station 19 Podcast. So again, Station 19 Podcast.
Yep.
Facebook's always weird, isn't it, with their
Yeah, it is
URLs and
weird
stuff?
with the name and URL. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you search for Station
So yeah.
1920 backslash 20 on
Yep.
Facebook, you'll find us there. So you can direct message us there. And probably I think the best way to get in touch with us, I mean, we're normally pretty good with Instagram, aren't we? I'm dreadful with Twitter. I'll readily admit that. But Instagram is a good bet. And I would say the email for me is the best bet. So our email address is podcast.station19. So podcast.station19 at gmail.com. So yeah, if you let us know what you loved, what you hated, go rogue. It doesn't have to be storyline, scene, performance. Just tell us what you love, tell us what you didn't love, from series 6, and we'll formulate some polls, and then you can look out for us on the socials, and you can vote. We'll kind of pick the top 5, top 3, whatever, and then you guys can vote out of those and tell us where
Yeah.
you rank things, and then
Yep.
we'll do a whole episode where we say what we loved, what we hated, and we'll compare our notes to yours, listeners.
I think that sounds so cool, so fun, and so interactive. Like I can't wait. It's gonna be a blast.
Well, we love hearing from people, don't we?
We
So,
do. It just, I don't know if you guys know, even if it's the same person all the time, I don't want you to think, oh, I just wrote them, or oh, I write them all the time. Even if we miss replying one time, I every message warms my heart, sincerely.
yep,
Long, short, whatever it is.
yep,
The support is priceless. And like she said, so many different ways to reach us, whichever your preference is. And we do try to check them each, at least I try to check them each daily.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, reach out, man. We're here. We're here to hear you, and like you see, we're taking your suggestions at heart. So
yep. So
yeah.
keep in touch. Keep
Yeah.
tuning in, but keep letting us know as well, and keep giving
Yes.
us feedback. And yeah, because we
Yeah.
just love it. We just love it.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, shall we discuss Series 6, Episode 18, the season finale, Glamorous Life?
Let's do it. This is where we need more
Okay.
like
I know.
like
I'll get the electronic drum kit down next week and
yes.
we'll
My
get
air
something ready
drumming
to
skills were, they're
go.
pretty good, I'm just gonna say.
It was your air drumming was fantastic. The
Thank
one thing
you.
I'll say about it is it doesn't translate when this is an auditory medium.
And I agree. I agree. You get the lucky, to see me. You're
I
the
get the
only lucky
visual.
ones. You do.
I get the visual, which
Yep.
was I'm just going to tell you guys, it was fan bloody tastic. She was in time. It was flamboyant.
I was in it, man. I was all like
You
Merle Danger
all
says, I was all in.
all the
Yeah,
way in, all the
all the
way in.
way in. Oh God, I can't wait to talk about Merle Danger. Okay, let's do this.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Air date 19th of the 5th, 2023. The writer was Zoanne Clack. Technically, she's been the head writer of Station 19 since August 22, but we haven't had an episode penned by her yet. And I think I mentioned last week she's got 22 writing credits
Mhm.
for Grey's Anatomy,
Mhm.
spanning from season 2 to season 18. And she has written 2 episodes, which include our favourite Italian, Giacomo Gianotti. Kidding. For, that include Karina. So she wrote. Actually, she wrote one of my favourite Karina scenes. I don't know if you've seen this, Tiffany. If not, I'm going to send you a link to it
Is it Grace?
when we're done on Grey's. Yeah, she wrote episode 1410, which Grey's fans will know as his personal Jesus. And Karina is asked by Richard Webber to help a young boy, like a teenage. I think he's a teenager. I think he's about 16 or so. He has what's a delicate way of putting it? A blockage.
Oh, okay.
He has a block,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
Webber decides that Karina is the best person to encourage this boy to clear the blockage.
Yeah.
Have you seen this episode, Tiffany?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I am texting you a link to this scene. It's absolutely brilliant. Job's a good one. He grabs a pillow, puts it over his lap, and sends her out of the room. It's classic Karina. So Zoanne
Okay,
Black.
I'm just gonna
Oh
say, if she came
yeah.
up to you with that problem, how long would it take you to be like, "Oh yeah, yep, got it, good." I'm just
Well,
saying.
we know that my love is pure, or it was. We'd have an issue if she said maybe. um, but
Too
um,
funny.
my love was pure. Um,
I'm not
but yeah,
saying it
so
wasn't.
so so Zoran Black wrote that episode, and she also wrote Series 16, Episode 18, which is the one where Andrea slash Andrew spots a trauma bond between a
Oh, yeah,
child
yeah.
trafficker and a victim,
Yep.
and that is ultimately what ends to Andrea's demise, as we know. But Karina had a small but very powerful role in that episode.
I haven't seen that one. I've only seen pictures of it, like of her standing there and things like that, but I've never seen the dialogue.
I'll ping you a link to the scene because it's really really powerful, and
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the first times that we see Stefania exercise her dramatic acting chops, because it's a very emotive scene. So
Okay.
Zoanne Black knows Stefania's worth. She's done comedy and tragedy for her on Grey's. So for Marina fans, we
Yep.
can only hope that spells good things.
Yep.
Then it was directed by the notorious SKB, who has opened this season and closed the season, gave us Home Wrecking Pam with her arm up a vending machine, and gave us the maybe that made my love impure and made me a bit sweaty. Had gay men and straight women all over the globe questioning. So we know SKB's worth, and I will move swiftly on. So,
She's like, and we're through. Like, it's like, that was like when you're at a haunted house and like you walk in and you know that this section has, you're pretty sure there's something that's going to pop out at you there. So you
uh-huh.
just like rush through it really, really fast. So you get through it and then it's like, okay, done. I can breathe now. That's what that
Yeah,
reminded me of. You're like, and moving on.
yeah, because now I can go back to not sweating and my love being pure again.
Sure.
I just
Yeah.
don't need
Good.
reminding of the, yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you,
You're
thanks.
welcome.
So this one, I think my notes I've kind of broken from our usual block one, block two, block three, and
Yeah.
I've just basically split it into pre-incident and then incident and post-incident.
Mine
So
is like interactions,
okay.
among the cast.
Well, so it looks like we sort of meet in the middle then, because what I've
Yeah.
done for the pre-incident is I've broken it down by either character or couple.
Sure.
So
Like mine
so
says, Theo plus Vic equals douchebag.
there you go, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's a slightly more wordy version of that when we get to Vic and Theo, but yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
I sort of went from what I thought was the least meaty to
Mm,
most meaty.
okay.
So, I mean, I started with Travis, and pre incident, all I could find to say was that he arrived with Eli.
Yep.
So they're a couple now.
That's noted, especially when they did the group pictures. We
Yeah.
saw that clearly, right?
Having a little snog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
out in public, letting everybody know you're together. So,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. And Travis didn't really get much pre
Mm,
incident other than a couple
mm,
of funny interactions with Vic that didn't
yeah.
get us anywhere or do anything. So, really, all I've got for Travis is he's with Eli now,
Yep, I agree. He has, if are we just talking about the beginning or for the whole episode?
just for the beginning, just for
Got
like
it.
pre incident, pre incident.
Pre-incident. Okay. Yep, then I
So
agree with that.
pre-incident, that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Ben and Miranda, they're on borrowed time because they're heading out to Boston for the Catherine Fox Awards.
Yep.
Um, they have a very funny encounter with Kitty, who still doesn't remember Ben, and
Gosh.
tries. She's so funny. She's so funny. She tries to dissuade them from bidding on a holiday to a Tuscan villa. So Ben bids on it and says that maybe she'll remember his name now. And Miranda is very keen to get Ben his award so that they can get to Boston. So
Mm,
when things are held up by a minor incident in the kitchen, she takes it upon herself to expedite matters, takes the mic, and then makes a very beautiful speech about Ben, not only being a brave firefighter, but also a loving family man and a great gumbo chef.
noted.
And pre incident, that's basically Ben and Miranda's bit. But I mean, I know that your notes and my notes on Miranda Bailey semi-match. So I've said Chandra Wilson, never a waste of screen time. And you have said,
Dr. Miranda Bailey, drop the mic.
there you go. Because she is just tremendous. Like Chandra
Love her.
Wilson, just let her read the phone book. I'll watch her read the phone book.
Seriously, can do so much with facial expressions, eye contact, whatever. Love, 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 love her. And
Her
always so
standoff
excited.
with her standoff
Yes.
with Kitty Dixon over the microphone was the
And
funniest thing
she
I've
didn't
seen in my
did you
life.
notice she didn't say a word?
0 words. She Baileyed her.
She Poor Ben.
Yeah, yeah. So, there wasn't a great deal of meat on the bones for Ben and Miranda,
Sure.
but I'm hoping that It seemed like when Ben got the award that maybe he's in accepting the award, maybe he's starting to accept what happened with losing Taylor
Yeah.
and Milo's
Yeah.
sort of disappointment in him. And I'm hoping that it's not going to draw a line under it and move on, but I'm hoping that in accepting the award, he can accept what's happened and start to move on.
Yeah, and I think that he kind of received some of that from the the firefighters. Like, I think they recognized how he was feeling, where he was at, and stood up and supported him in the way that they knew how.
When he got
Um,
choked up
yeah, yeah.
doing the speech, and they gave him a standing
Yeah,
ovation, and Vic
Sullivan
was
was
like, "Yeah,
like, "Yeah,
Ben," and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah."
yeah,
And
yeah,
I just feel like that was the way that was what he needed to know
yeah,
that, hey, kind of we've all been there and it's okay, you know? And
yeah.
so I agree. I hope it doesn't, rise back up, but that he's cool now. And I loved Chandra Wilson, just like even the way she was like, "Well, I'm about to eat this bread," and
Oh my god,
it's the
her
way she
relationship
was,
with that bread was so
yeah.
special.
And once she saw the award, well, we are to be, I don't remember the word, oogled upon or
Yeah,
something with how they
yeah, look at me in this dress. Look
yeah,
at you in that tux. We
yeah.
deserve to be ogled. People should
Oh,
be
good,
ogling
yes,
us. We
yes.
deserve to be ogled.
Yes. It was just, she just killed every line, every scene, like we
Yeah,
talked about the eye contact with
yeah,
Kitty. I was just all over her. Loved, loved, loved
yeah.
her.
And the
And
little snarky comments like, "How did everyone else get out of
yeah,
this?"
like,
And then,
right?
and when the new union president was giving his speech, she was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, now I see why everyone else skipped this," and
Yeah.
she's just
Yeah.
yeah, Chandra Wilson is just so good at everything.
She is.
She she either breaks your heart or she gives you enormous belly laughs.
Mhm.
Whenever she's on the screen, something exciting is going to happen, I
Yeah.
think. It's just always a pleasure to watch her work. So, yeah, although there wasn't a great deal of meat on the bones, she just stole every scene I think that she was in.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
just a scene stealer. So,
She did. And yeah, I mean, I just get excited when I see that she's going to be, that she's guest starring, and
yeah,
they can
yeah.
keep bringing her on cuz
Oh, they
love it.
have to. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they have to. So, shall we speak about Jack? Have you got anything like did we covered off Ben, didn't we?
Yes, we covered Ben. Jack, for pre-incident,
Well, he's inexplicably turned up with Powell as his date.
totally
I
disappointed.
mean, yeah, why? Why?
I'm kind of protective over Jack right now because he's worked so
Yeah,
hard to get where he is, and he's becoming a stand-up guy. And you're going to show
yeah,
up with her. Come on.
yeah. It is inexplicable. She does what she appears to do best. She's basically ignoring him. He's opening up his heart, telling
Mhm.
her all about his foster sister, and
Mhm.
she, yeah, is ignoring him and then bins him to go off and mingle with her buddies, sort of leaving Jack on his Todd. But Jack being Jack, he finds a heavily pregnant waitress who trips on an uneven floor. Foreshadowing, foreshadowing, foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And then he spends the rest of the evening either alone or checking in on this heavily pregnant waitress.
Yeah.
Um, what I did love, she discloses that she's putting the baby up for adoption, and Jack is just so sweet and supportive.
He
But
is.
that's just so it's just kind of keeps feeding into the new improved
It's
Jack,
fresh. Yeah.
interactions like that.
Yep.
Kitty tracks him and his strong arms down
God.
at the bar and asks him if he'll go and investigate a funny smell coming from the kitchen. She thinks it smells like burning wires. He finds smoke pouring from the walls in the kitchen. Andy, the new union president, and the chief all go with him to the
Excuse me.
kitchen. And
That's
yeah,
that's Captain Andy Herrera.
oh, well, we're not there yet.
I I couldn't help it. I'm sorry,
That's all right. That's all
but
right.
don't edit me out.
I'm not going to edit you out. I'm going to 100% leave that in,
Okay.
and I'll self correct. How's that? Captain Herrera, Chief Ross, and President What's His Gob of the union.
Loved
Uh,
it.
Thank you. Join Jack in the kitchen, and they think that there could well be fire in the walls due to the age of the building
Uh-huh.
and it not being up to snuff. They give some technical reasons. I wasn't sufficiently interested to take note of what those were.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, but they think it's small. They think it's contained. So Jack returns to the party, and the pregnant woman he's been helping all night finally admits that she's in labor. So Jack says that he will take her to the hospital, goes to get his car keys, and finds Theo and Powell in a compromising position, which again we will go into further down the pike. That was very American of me, saying down the pike. You impressed?
This is very hard holding feelings in.
I know, but it's good practice. It's
Just
good
telling you.
practice. I know. I
It's
can tell. I
hard.
can see your face. I can see your face.
They
I.
can't.
It's rough,
What would
but
what would you like to know?
do we have anything to say about young Jackie boy pre-incident other than he is
Just that
always everyone's protector?
yeah, I'm proud of him for all the work that he's put in. And he clearly showed during this episode that just how much work he's put in. He's trying to be this stand-up guy. I loved how he was helping her, and that she just happened to be putting the baby up for adoption. And I just I hated seeing him walking behind Powell like a puppy dog, because it reminded me of maybe season two, maybe I don't remember. But when he was like to Diane, "Why do I go after women who can't love me back?" I felt like it was just that
Mm-hmm.
same situation all over again.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy what happened with Theo and Vic. Like you said, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
However, I'm happy that it happened to cut him off from Kate and not get him to go down that road, because I just want to see him happy.
Yeah.
Did I do okay?
I think you did great.
Okay.
You're doing very well to keep a lid on that rage. I'm very
Yes.
proud of you.
Thank you.
And I think to try and change your headspace a little bit, I think it's time that we discuss Captain Andrea Herrera.
Let's do it.
Okay, so she discovers from Eli that Robel Osman is not considering keeping on Chief Ross as Chief Ross, and so she starts campaigning in the room and starts with Mayor Osman himself and tells him that he was elected because the people want something different and the chief is different. For those of you who are not privy to Tiffany's facial expressions right now, I haven't helped the situation. She's now chewing wasps at the treatment of our Lord and Savior, Chief Ross. It's okay, breathe. It's okay.
We went from one to another.
Sorry.
I forgot that was going to be included in the timeline for Andy.
So did I, to be perfectly honest, or I wouldn't have gone there.
You did that
All
on
right.
purpose.
I swear down I did not. I'd forgotten to. And as soon as I saw it on my notes, I realized that I'd made a
We can use the word my 18-month-old said this morning all on his own. Shucks.
shucks. That is so cute.
He went to grab his drink and it was empty. He looked at me. He goes, "Shucks."
That's far more polite than what an 18-month-old of mine would likely say if I had one.
So yeah, let's talk about it so we can move on from it.
Okay, so Andy appeals to Osman and says he was elected because people wanted something different. The chief is different. And Eli offers to talk to him on Andy's behalf because he reluctantly concedes and says that maybe he does owe her one. So if he does this, they'll be even. And he says that he likes Andy's passion.
And that she looks good. Just saying.
And that she looks, and yes, he does say that she looks good.
Just
And
saying.
she says, I know.
Yeah. Which she did, so.
Yeah. The chief then finds Andy and tells her that she should stop all the campaigning because it's going to look suspicious when folk find out that she's making Andy captain. We're both having a little dance party in our
We
respective
are.
recording rooms.
We are.
Andy then does the right thing and goes and tells Theo, because, it's best that he hears it from her, right? But he takes it exceptionally badly. Are we really surprised? No. But he basically says Andy only got the job because she fought for the chief and the chief plays favourites, and he calls her Chief Quid Pro Quo and then says to Andy, well played, and then walks off.
Can you believe that.
Yes.
Sorry, I
I
know I'm
can,
supposed to
because
wait.
he is
I'm
such no,
just
no, no, it's fine, because that's basically it. We see Andy take her captaincy for a spin as the episode unfolds, but that was basically it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I can believe it because Theo has just been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. There's been no let up with this guy.
yeah.
And it seems like it started with Vic, but in the recent weeks, he's kind of started taking stuff out on Andy as well. So I'm really not surprised at all. No. I mean, are you?
I honestly couldn't believe that he had the audacity to act like she had no talent, that she didn't get it for any other reasons than basically what he said was brown nosing
Yeah.
Chief Ross.
Yeah. Ross giving her a quid pro quo.
Yeah, the audacity of that, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, see, I could, because I think he's now got this sense of entitlement, and I don't think he's so kind of arrogant now that I don't think he could see it going another way. And I don't think it's acceptable to him, like the explanation to him is going to be acceptable, that she just is better than him and
Yeah.
more suited to the job than him. I just don't think that that's going to
Yeah.
be acceptable for him.
He's just, to me, he just, when he did that, he went to a whole another level of douchebag.
Yeah.
Like, it took me like, wait, what? Did he really? Did he really?
We saw him hinting at that last week, didn't we? Was it last week? I think it was last week when Andy said, "I'm not just going to hand it to you." And he was
Right,
like, "No,
right.
no, I would expect you to, but by the way, I've done a lot to clean this place up, which is a job
Yes,
you wouldn't
yes.
take." We saw it coming, I think, and I think that that side of him has been escalating, so I'm not overly surprised.
I guess I was. I guess I was a little bit shocked that he went there. Like,
Yeah.
you think that there's like a cutoff level, like you can't get any worse kind of type
Oh,
thing.
I find with individuals like that, that there is no cutoff, they just get worse and worse and worse. Like,
Seriously, like
yeah, yeah,
because later on he proves it even more. I'm sure you're getting to
yep, yep,
with Vic.
yeah.
So,
But I mean, we got what we saw coming a mile off. Well, certainly I saw it coming a mile off. I think our first ever episode, or maybe the second one we did, I said Andy's going to be captain. We, the audience, are being groomed to see Andy as
yeah,
the next captain, because we'd had
yeah,
it from all angles, hadn't we? We'd had Eli saying, "Oh, you're the true leader," and we'd seen her
right.
sort of trying to guide people emotionally through things, and that's before we had things like the mutiny and her taking point at the car wash. So I think we all knew that Andy becoming captain was inevitable, but it was nice just to hear it and have it come to fruition, I think.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
I've been wanting Andy to be captain forever. I don't not it's I'm not saying I necessarily believe she was ready. I just wanted to see her as captain, and I was not convinced that we would ever see it, or when we did see it, it would be towards the end
I was on an accident and
of
going
the
on
season.
you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or I mean, sorry, the end of the show as a whole, the end of the
Right. Yeah.
series. And when I heard her say, Captain, like, you're the new, oh God, it was like a celebratory, like, I was like, oh yeah, like, that's right. I was so excited. And then just to see, like, no really big celebration, nobody really, you know what I mean? Like, that
Yeah.
really hurt me for her. I loved Vic, where Vic was for her.
Yeah.
I guess Maya, I don't really know if we saw Maya find out.
No,
Um,
I don't think Maya even
yeah,
knows,
she didn't, yeah, and
actually.
then seeing Jack, Jack he was good,
Yeah.
but everybody else was kind of like, and that really kind of that bothered me.
Yeah, I
So
can see why. But I don't think Andy's the kind of person that needs fanfare.
no, I don't either. It's just people
Um,
deserve their flowers,
yeah, but I
right?
think I agree, but I think Sullivan did the best that Sullivan could do, and
Sullivan.
he put his arm around her, he gave her a hug,
No, he did surprise me there for that, but I'm talking about
yeah,
the rest of the episode.
yeah, yes, yes.
You're making this one really hard.
Oh, by making you go over what happened again?
No, by making me hold stuff in
I know.
until we get to the bullet point on the piece of paper.
I know, but we got to try.
Now I have to eat an orange. Now I'm stress eating.
Stress eating the orange. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There are worse things you could be stress eating though. You get that vitamin C in you.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Would you like to say anything else about Captain Herrera before we move
All
on?
I'm gonna say is, oh yeah.
All right, good.
I'm pumped. I can't wait to. The
See
only
her in
thing that made me
action.
sad was that it's the end of the season. We did get to see her in action in heels, by the way, rocking it out in a ballroom dress. Let's just make it pointed. And I can't wait to see more, man. I'm pumped. Super pumped. Good
Well,
decision, writers.
I'm glad that you're pumped. I'm glad that you're pumped.
Yes.
Okay. Maya and Karina. So, they are getting ready to go to said ball. Karina doesn't have an appropriate outfit because she wasn't sure that she would be Maya's +1. She emerges from their closet, I guess, in the most hideous bridesmaid's dress known to man.
Oh, come on. It wasn't that bad.
It looked like an early 90s tablecloth.
That's actually true.
I have seen doilies more attractive than that dress. It was
Okay,
hideous.
I just want to say that for at least maybe 22 years of my life, Little House on the Prairie was my favorite show. I have the whole series on DVD. I've met some of the cast, and so I love that show. Just admitting that to the world. I could sing you the theme song right now if you wanted me to. Just saying.
I mean, if you feel moved to do so, I won't stop you.
Do 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 do.
All right, and you should know that is 100% staying in. I'm not editing that out.
And if you don't believe me, go Google it and put it side by side to the show. I'm just saying.
Okay. I think this is where you and I differ because that was your favorite show. My favorite show was Xena Warrior Princess. Followed by Friends, followed by The West Wing. I've never seen an episode of Little House on the Prairie. And if Karina's dress is anything to go by, it's not something that I'm going to run out and buy the box set of.
Okay. I'm just saying, I can bring the DVDs to watch when I come visit you if you'd like.
Oh, but that's really sweet. But here's the thing, is that your DVD is going to be region 1 and my DVD player is region 2. So that's really sweet, but we'll probably find
You're lucky.
fun stuff to do.
You're lucky.
Thank you. Maya, rightly in my opinion, says that dress is unacceptable.
And there were hats.
There were hats.
There were hats.
They settle on Karina's wedding outfit as the appropriate outfit to wear, and Maya begins to extricate Karina from the Laura Ingalls Wilder hellscape frock. Temptation gets the better of them, and as Julia astutely pointed out when she saw the look on Maya's face as soon as she even started to unzip that dress, oh, they're going to be really late for that party.
Oh yeah, you saw it right away, and it's sad because what I got from it was, how the heck can she have a twisted bra strap and not turn it?
That did my head in. It's so uncomfortable as well. Just someone put it right.
Like you would notice right away and fix it.
Maya should have fixed it for her. That's what loving couples do.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, she probably wasn't planning on it staying on for very much longer. But anyway.
Right. But I just don't know how Karina tolerated that as long as she did.
Uncomfortable.
You see, I'm stress eating an orange. You see this?
I do see that. You're giving that pith hell.
It's got a lot of the. I don't like
It's very pithy.
what do you call it?
Pith.
I don't like pulp. So I pull the stuff off.
Yeah, the white stuff.
This orange is also probably, like, if you don't eat it today, it's gonna be done. It's kind of old.
Is there any juice left in it?
Rhino, no, it's not like that. You open it, it's like bone dry. You're like, dang it. No.
But later we see Maya and Karina in bed. They are discussing babies. Karina wants 3. Maya rightly says that is a firm no because they outnumber you. They do. I know 2 couples, each with 3 kids. Their life is hell. As soon as they outnumber you, you are screwed.
Noted.
So
Do not have 3.
do not have 3. And then Karina confesses that she's been researching IVF doctors and she's narrowed it down to 2. And Maya needs no further information. She tells her to go book an appointment.
Which is such a positive thing for us because she would not do that, right?
No.
And so it just made me really happy to know that that's where they're at.
Yeah.
Really, really happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Karina briefly tries to rally her and Maya out of bed, particularly when she discovers that there's going to be food there. But they are definitely going to be extremely late for that party because Maya asks for one more kiss. And so, yeah, they're not getting to that party anytime soon. Karina is going hungry. They eventually do arrive in time to say hi-bye to Ben and Miranda and to find out, much to
There's
Karina's chagrin, that there is no food due to the
No
incident
food.
in the kitchen. And for the second time that evening, Maya and Karina are headed straight for dessert.
Yay, I got
You know what my thought was?
Go on.
How could they not order them pizza or something? Come on.
Yeah.
Make up for it somehow.
Well, Kitty Dixon's in charge. That may go some way as to explaining that switch.
Come on. I would have been like, you can't order a pizza? There's a pizza down the street or something? I mean, you're supposed to be honoring people who save lives, and you're like, we'll give you dessert.
Yeah, well, Kitty Dixon all over.
But better be good dessert. That's all I'm gonna say.
I know. So, I mean, my first thought was that a decision has been made to keep that dress.
Okay.
A decision has been made to keep that dress. She's brought that from wherever she was living previously
She did.
to Maya's apartment. And the way that she described Little House on the Prairie as that American TV show
Mhm.
suggests to me that the friend to whom she refers is in Italy.
Mhm.
So not only has a decision been made to bring that dress from wherever she was living in Seattle to Maya's apartment, that dress has been brought from Italy. That has traveled an ocean.
I think she likes it.
Jesus.
She secretly likes it.
You know what? She needs a pointy hat, like a conical hat, and a wand, and she can be a fairy godmother in that dress.
I do not disagree with that.
Pick your poison, be it the Wizard of Oz, Cinderella, conical hat, wand. That's all she needs. It was just terrible.
I'm just saying I cannot disagree with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I feel like if I were there, I'd pat you on the shoulder.
Thanks.
It's okay.
But I'll tell you what, that dress has helped me get over the maybe moment. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Oh, yeah. That was ew.
Look, Stefania could make a bin bag look chic, but even Stefania Spampinato could do nothing for that dress. I was that offended
come
by the dress.
on.
I was that offended by the dress. I can't.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. But anyway,
Just can't do it.
no. But I'll leave it be. That was the only thing that really upset me. But Maya and Karina are back to where they were pre-Maya losing her captaincy. In fact, they're better than that. They're in a good place. They're back to trying for a baby. And we could only have dreamed, couldn't we, that the season would close like this after the roof scene at the end of 601 and then Maya sending Karina out of her hospital room at the end of 607. The first episode of the season and then the first episode of the second part of the season both just caned us as far as kind of Maya and Karina were concerned. And so we could literally only hope, pray, and dream that this is where we would find ourselves at the end of the season.
Yes.
But this is where we find ourselves. So it's all good.
I cannot finish this orange. It's terrible. I was making it work because of my stress level, but it's terrible.
It's been a struggle watching you, to be honest.
I was all in, but then, just I can't do it anymore. I've been putting it in this bucket. I just
Oh
can't.
my
There's like
god.
little pieces that I can't do it.
I don't blame
We're
you.
in rare form today.
I know, right?
Must be because it's the finale.
Some sort of delirium, I think.
Yeah, I've been up for God now 12 hours. This is my God knows what number can of Mountain Dew.
Oh, bless you.
And here we go.
And here we go. So what I should have done, really, is I should
Yeah.
have done what we usually do, which is closed with Maya and Karina, because they're always a pretty nice palate cleanse. But because I tried to do it in order of meatiness,
Uh,
I've kind of stuck them in the middle, and I'm going to upset you now. So I just want you to mentally prepare yourself as I say Vic and Theo. All right, are we centered? Are we ready to go?
I might pull the half dry, overdue orange out of the bucket and try to eat it again.
Or we could just pause and you could go and get like a Snickers or something. Or like a stiff
Yeah.
drink. It's 10 p.m. here, so you could just go get yourself a stiff drink. I won't judge you.
Yeah. If I weren't the sole one watching my kid, I might do that. And then this would really be a rare form episode because I probably have a drink once a year. So my body's very like, hello. After like a sip, I'm like, woohoo.
Well, I have to tell you, we
so-
serve cocktails every Friday night at our house, so
when
that's
I
gonna
come
be a
stay
fun
with
time.
you, yeah, you're probably gonna be like a record, because, well, and I had weight loss surgery, right? And so
That's right.
you absorb the they actually warn you. They're like, if you were a drinker before, just know that you're gonna absorb it 50% more than a regular drinker, because of the way they redo your body. So
Right.
it doesn't take much at all for somebody like me.
Well, I'm 5 feet tall and weigh about 6.5 stone, wringing wet, which I don't know what that is in pounds. I don't think I even weigh 100 pounds. So you and I are a good team because I'm a massive lightweight when it
Literally.
comes to
Yeah.
But yeah. So it might be a very drunken podcast that we do together when you're over here.
Oh my God, that's gonna be like all of a sudden our number of listeners is gonna go ding 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 ding.
Yeah, exactly. two drunk ladies.
Talking about Station 19.
Yeah. So have we girded our loins? Are we ready to dive into the absolute shitstorm, excuse my language, that is Vic and Theo?
Okay, talk about thick.
All right. It starts out well. Vic and Andy have turned up together. Vic is sporting a very beautiful shortcut. That haircut really suits her. I liked that. Theo has turned up late because he went to pick Vic up and she forgot to tell him that she wouldn't be there. She would be at Andy's. Whoops! But he attacks her immediately, says it doesn't look good for the captain to arrive late. And I was actually really pleased that Vic popped back and said, you know what, talking about yourself in the third person is a little bit power trippy. So that's one thing that I have really appreciated about Vic is in the past few episodes, she hasn't like taken any crap from him. She has been popping back. And that was no exception. What is that?
It's a chocolate bar. I'm gonna go find positive stress food. Is this enough
Yeah.
snacks? Is that okay? Are you judging me?
There's never enough snacks.
Or as my mom says in the German, schnacks. Schnacks. Divi, do we have schnacks? Was that
so cute.
right?
It's so cute that she has. Yeah, it's so cute that she has such a. Because how long's your mum lived in the States?
28 years.
She sounds so German. She has such an accent.
I don't hear it. I don't
No.
hear it at all. To me, she sounds like me. But sometimes when she gets really, 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 really nervous, it'll come out, and that's how I know what it sounds like. But people like you that she talks to for the first time are like, "Oh my God, your mom has an accent," and I'm like, "Huh?"
I know that it's probably bad manners. You probably shouldn't say that people's accents are cute, but I just think it's lovely.
It is.
I find it completely endearing. My missus has basically no accent at all.
Oh, okay.
She sounds very middle class English now. There's like a hint of something. People often mistake her as being South African or something, but
Oh, really?
yeah, because there's a very slight twang of something. But she's been here 15 years, I think, and so she has like zero accent left, basically. Like, she just sounds like a
And she's
posh
from the
English
South,
person. Yeah,
South, right? And
yeah,
so their accents are different from where my mom is from to the South
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and
So
they have
yeah,
like completely different dialect as well. Like,
they do.
it took me forever to understand that when her grandmother was saying "svo," she meant "zwei." She was saying two, and like
Oh,
the way that
two.
they
Ja,
say
genau.
"four."
Ich habe das
Yeah,
auch gehört.
yeah,
Yeah.
genau, yeah, and then,
Oh, sorry. I've heard that before too. My mom sometimes
yeah,
will say zwei. Sometimes.
yeah. It's and the way that they say fork is different. They call it a gauble instead of like
Oh, yeah.
like. And then she wonders why I don't speak any German. It's because you don't speak German. You speak Bavarian, so I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I digress. Yes, your mum has an adorable accent,
And
and
I found chocolate.
you found chocolate. So, what were we talking about? Yes, we were talking about Vic and Theo.
Thick.
So she has a pop, tells him that he's power trippy, but then immediately calms things down, says, "Look, can we start again?" Gives him a kiss and moves on because that's Vic, because she's a peacekeeper and
Mm-hmm.
she's trying to do the right thing. She announces Andy's captaincy when she finds out to Ben et al. At the table. She's the one that makes the announcement because she's happy for Andy. And Theo immediately storms off. And Vic goes after him and she tries to talk to him. And again, he just attacks her. And I think it's appropriate at this point to use the word gaslighting. I've been a little bit reluctant because I wonder if these terms are overused lately. Maybe. I don't know. But maybe they're overused. Maybe some people consider them to be overused. Maybe we're just more aware of gaslighting and bullying and stuff now. And so we call it out more. But I've been a little bit reluctant to use those terms describing Theo's behavior. But at this point, the way the conversation goes, personally, I think that gaslighting is the appropriate term for what he does because he says to her, "Oh, why is it that I'm always the bad guy?" Well, maybe Theo, because you're being a bad guy.
Yep. Let's consider that.
Yeah. And then he puts words in her mouth and says, "Oh, so basically now you're admitting that you thought I never deserved captain," when she points out that he probably would never have made captain if she hadn't turned the truck around and taken it back to Tomas's shop. So again,
Which
there's
is
like,
true.
yeah. So again, there's that gaslighting element. So now you're admitting that you never thought that I was, which is not what she said at all. Pal walks in on the fight and pretends she was going to the loo. But for me, I think she was looking for Theo so that she could go and console him. So I don't think that she was going to the loo at all. And Theo just cannot separate Vic being happy for Andy and her not being there for him. It's like a zero sum game for him. Either you're with me or you're with her. Like, it can't be both.
Yep, I agree.
And then she finally calls him out on everything and then highlights for him exactly why Andy made captain over him, which is that as captain, he micromanages everything, he's paranoid, and he's competitive with Andy, and it's driving everyone nuts. So he's had a like a little truth bomb dropped on him there. It's not because Chief Quid Pro Quo has a thing with that for Andy. It's because he's really not very good at the job. And then she says that these qualities in him make being with him a chore for her. Then there's further gaslighting because he says, "Well, you walk away from every conversation all of the time," and that she loves that he's as bad at being captain as he is at everything else in her eyes, and that she loves that everyone agrees with her even more. And goody for her, everyone agrees that he's a crap captain because it means that she gets to be right again, and she loves so much to be right. So he's just, bit of a twat. I'll have to quack that out. That's a swear word over here.
I didn't think they were having the same conversation. I felt like it was two people having different conversations.
They were having entirely different conversations because
Yep.
he's got himself to the point that he is just failing to understand. He literally is just hearing what he wants to hear. He's got his point of view and he's not moving from it
Right.
whatsoever.
Right.
And there's absolutely no persuading him of anything. He just doesn't hear anything that she says anymore. And she asks him if it's a breakup. And he says, well, do you want it to be? And she says, well, I don't know, but I am over all of this, meaning their fights.
Mm-hmm.
So he just goes, fine.
Yep.
And walks away.
Yep. No care at all.
No, literally, like, it's almost like that's what he was angling for.
Yep.
But again, I guess that he would be the bad guy if he broke up with her. But now that he can say that she's broken up with him because she said that she was tired of it all. So she's the one, right? It's more of that again.
Even though when she said that, she left it waiting for more conversation.
Yeah.
He's the one that was like,
Yeah.
okay.
She said, I don't know, but this particular thing between us needs to stop. But he just kind of took that as a good, we're done. Ciao.
Mm-hmm.
I'm off.
Yeah, so like my mom said, so Kate could fall on his extension cord. That's what my mom said happened.
Well, oh God. I'll decide later whether to leave this in or edit it out, but we had a fire drill some years ago at one of my places of work, and my best friend who I worked with at the time, like, the toaster caught fire, and so the fire brigade came out, and she walked over to one of the firefighters and asked him if she could slide down his pole.
She actually said that to him?
Fully said it to him.
That's bold.
She was like, can I come back to your station and slide down your pole, sir? And she is not difficult on the eyes, is my mate. And you have never seen an individual's face go from pasty Englishman to radish quite as quickly as he did. And he fully forgot how to speak English. It was just like, and so I quickly apologized for her and removed her from the barricade.
That's hilarious. I don't think you should edit that out.
I love her dearly. And
yeah, that's hilarious.
Stuff like that's just a weekly occurrence when I'm around her. I'll be honest. But fall on his extension cord is also an acceptable term, I would say.
Yep.
But Vic, I was actually quite heartened when she goes back to the table and confides in Travis and Sullivan about it, that she says that she's relieved.
Right.
So I did take heart in that she just feels better now that it's over. And Theo, as you just pointed out, I've put in my notes that he takes comfort in Powell, because I was trying to be polite, but
way too generous. Way too generous.
But she tells him what he wants to hear, basically.
Yep. And some of the stuff she says, Vic has said.
Yeah, but
he just refuses to hear it.
Yeah, exactly. But she tells him that he had great command of 19.
Oh, please.
I know. And that he deserved the captaincy. And then Jack finds Powell fully straddling Theo, and they are making
his extension cord.
Yes. They're making obnoxiously loud kissing noises in the coach room. So, I mean, obviously I'm happy that they're over. I said last week, if Powell wants him, she can have him, and have him she is doing. So
yep. Take him then.
What I find sad, though, is that they were the archetypal perfect couple before, and Theo was
so sweet
and kind. And when I think back, I always think back to the abortion episode, and he'd read all the books, and we still don't really know what Theo's take on the abortion was, because Vic didn't ask him. She just went ahead and did it. And he did say to her one time, you don't even know how I feel about this. But his actions said, it doesn't matter how I feel about this. This is her body and her decision, and I'm just going to stand by her. And it seemed, when someone says, you didn't even ask me, you don't even know what my feelings are, that kind of said to me that he perhaps would have quite liked to have kept the baby. Like maybe there was a part of him that would have liked to.
His feelings were different.
Yeah, but he completely ignored all of that, and he had the emotional intelligence and the sweetness and the kindness and the goodness of heart to realize this is going to affect her significantly more than it's going to affect me. This is her body. This is her decision. And so whether he was in agreement that the baby should go, or it
Right.
wasn't a baby, it was a fetus, but whether or not his feelings were in agreement with that decision, intellectually he was in agreement with any decision that she wanted to make. And the way he took care of her, and he'd got her favorite chocolate, and he had read the books, and then he'd made a fool of himself singing outside of the door, and just the way that he took care of her, that's Theo. And I remember one of our first podcasts that we did, he got really angry over something. And I said, when Theo is storming around shirtless and mad, you know that something's gone horribly wrong because he's just such a sweet guy.
Mhm.
And when you look at the man that was speaking to her in that bar and compare him to the man that accompanied her to the hospital to get that abortion, they're not the same human. And it
No.
makes me so sad because he is an entirely different person now. And although we know that the catalyst for that was the fires that were happening in his old neighborhood, we've really only scratched the surface of that. We don't really know why it's affected him so badly and why he's had this 180 in his personality. And I really hope that they go into that more next season, because otherwise it's just a complete and utter mystery as to why Theo is not the man he was this time last year.
Yeah, and I think, the more we've been talking about these episodes and getting so deep into them as we have, I think Maya is not the only one that's had mental health crises.
No.
Mental health crises can look different with every person. Yours can
Yeah.
look completely different than mine. And I think other people's were kind of overshadowed just because we were all so um deep into Maya's and so overtaken by hers that I think we maybe miss subtle hints of other people's mental health crisis. I know we talked about like, oh, Theo's not okay, but we didn't realize he was having a mental health crisis that wasn't.
But also, I don't think that's our fault because Maya's mental health crisis was very obvious.
It
The
was, and
fact
it
that
was
the
huge.
wife had to
Yeah,
5150 her.
right.
And also then we saw her work through it with
Mm-hmm.
Diane, Dr. Lewis. We need Dr. Lewis back. There
We
wasn't
do.
enough Dr. Lewis this year. Anyway, I
No.
digress. And quite obviously, quite obviously, Beckett's mental health crisis was front and center for us all to see because,
Right.
his alcoholism was shown constantly, him going to the bottle,
Sure.
going to the bottle, going to the bottle. And then obviously leading up to his contemplating suicide. So,
Which, why did we? I'm sorry, I just have to say
no,
this.
go for it.
Totally devastated we didn't have even like a 20-second clip with Vic, like, hey, are you okay after what happened with Beckett? Just like a mental health check in with her. I was so bummed that was just ignored this episode.
Yeah, but I can see why as well, because how you
I
shoehorn that
know.
in, like,
I
with the
know.
ball and stuff, I can see why,
I know.
but maybe, hopefully, the first episode of next season, maybe we'll get something like that, like, how is everyone now? The dust has
No, it's going to be
settled, and how
24
is
years down the road, and the kids are going to be in college. And
yeah. Maya will be chief, Andy will be battalion chief because
Yep.
Maya's gone into Maya mode
Hmm.
at some point and,
Yep.
and outranked Andy.
Yep.
Sullivan will still be refusing to retire.
Yep.
Trying
I'm,
to.
I'm just saying.
Oh dear. But yeah, so I don't think that we can be blamed for
No.
overlooking a potential mental health crisis because one hasn't been signposted for us. So I don't know whether in their heads he's having a mental health crisis or if he's just snapped something in him's just, I don't know, just had a change of heart. I don't know. And something that I just thought about when we were talking about his reaction to Andy and him kind of not acknowledging that she's just better at the job than him. He keeps making digs about Vic's training. And do you think that part of his angst towards Vic is that he's resentful of her because she's outgrowing him.
Oh yeah. Sorry, as you see, I'm snacking and I just put food in my mouth. I do think he feels intimidated by her because of the fact of what she's doing. You know, sometimes men can get intimidated of women when they either start making more money than them or they go to college and get a higher degree. You know what I mean? Sometimes they feel like, oh, is she gonna want somebody quote unquote better? Not saying they are better, but that's the view that they have.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure, could totally see that happening with Theo because I think he's been insecure from the beginning.
Yeah, and the fact that he was being sort of resentful of Andy,
Right.
then being better at the job than him, and I wonder if part of it is that he resents Vic for improving herself, and that might then make him more desperate to hold on to the captaincy so that he can feel either equal or possibly even superior to her. Whereas now he's been demoted back down to lieutenant, and Vic's career's in the ascendancy. He might see that as there being like a power imbalance growing that he's not on the right end of as far as he's concerned. That's the only other thing that I thought.
Right. Hold on, sorry, I didn't know that my husband had turned our alarm on. And I just let the dog out and our alarm is going off and it's like they
I can
text
hear
me.
it.
They were like, "Do we need to send first responders? Is this an emergency?" My 4-year-old apparently canceled it. I
Unless
didn't know
he's
he knew
just
how to cancel it.
unless he's just
I'm gonna go look.
silenced the alarm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look to make sure they're not still sending first responders. So that's so funny. This recording has been so funny. So much has happened.
I know.
Am I bothering you eating my snacks?
You're not bothering me one jot. You eat your snacks.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't like crunching in your ear because I'm eating something like
No, that's
like chips, but not chips.
That's absolutely fine. It'll be on the recording, but everyone knows you're stress eating, so it's all good.
I'm sorry, people. I'm crunching in your ear. I haven't eaten yet, and I've been up for 13 hours. I'm starving.
We're also getting Abraham's Nintendo soundtrack.
I'm telling you, this is mom life recording here, people. It's real. It's real
It's
life.
real. It's real. It's
he,
real.
He wants to be close to me, and he wants to cuddle. AB, can you turn down the Mario sound, please, a little bit on your Nintendo? Can you turn the
Bless
volume
him.
down, please?
Bless him.
Thank you, buddy.
Oh, bless his heart.
Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. He turned it all the way down. Give me a kiss.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Can I have a kiss, please? Give me a hug. I love you. Give me a kiss.
Look at that little angel.
He is. I love you.
What a good lad.
Okay. He is. He's a good boy. Okay.
Right. Do we have anything else to say about Victoria Hughes and Theo douchebag Ruiz?
No.
Grand. Join us for part 2 of the season 6 finale, Glamorous Life.